baby. We are live in effect. You guys know what time it is. It's Thursday. We're not playing around. The football season is officially here, and we're about to get into it. You guys are officially in the locker room. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. So excited to have you tonight. We got a great show lined up for you. But first, let me introduce my boy who always holds me down from St. Louis. That is none other than Q, the Guru. What's going on, Guru?
What's going on, Coach? Yeah, like you said, man, it's time to kick off now. We go and get in this show now. We got to go and get it going, man. It's that time now. You got to go and strap it up, man.
All right. So, hey, every Thursday, we got our crew that comes in. You guys are looking for your football fix. We're here to give you guys something that's going to separate you from everybody else. For the players, the parents, the coaches out there, this is for you. So we've got a special show lined up for you. This gentleman is very near and dear to my heart. This is somebody that I knew about when I was in high school, but I officially got to meet him when I went off to the University of Colorado. He helped host me. He's a Bay Area native. He's going down, you guys, as one of the greatest Colorado Buffaloes to suit it up in the secondary for Colorado. Really a fan favorite from many. The 90s, early 2000s. Recently, they just had a Mount Rushmore for college safeties for Colorado, and he was one of the honorable mention safeties. This is somebody that went on to be a 7th-round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns, you guys. He was player of the year, defensive player of the year in NFL Europe, for some of you guys that remember NFL Europe, and really, not just a great person on the field, you guys, but a great person off the field, a true leader, and that is none other than my brother, Rashidi Barnes. What's going on, boy?
Hey, Terrence, man, thank you for having me. Guru's, great meeting you.
Definitely, man. Pleasure to have you on.
Excited to have you, man. Obviously been wanting to have you on. You're a busy man, but let's get right into it. I mean, for those joining us, I see some people already coming on in the chat. The great Jimmy Rucker, he said, when is week 0? It's right here, Jimmy. It's right here, baby. It's right around the corner. We ready to roll. I know Jimmy wants some football. The great Coach Falls. Greetings, Coach, from Alabama. Love you. Of course, my mother-in-law coming in from there. She don't miss no football, y'all. She ain't missing nothing, and she knows Rashidi, and she's ready to go. And then Antoinette coming in. Hey, she's ready to go as well. So let's rock and roll, you guys. Let's get into it, man. You are a Bay Area native. You're a Bay boy. City boy from the East Bay, Berkeley High School, tried and true. So I definitely wanted to find out, man, how somebody goes from Berkeley, California, and a little bit of sunshine to Boulder, Colorado, and becomes a Buffalo. I didn't know if it was the coach that inspired you to come. I know you got some former teammates that are brothers to you, like Hannibal Navies, that was already at Colorado. So I didn't know if it was the connection there. But talk to the audience, man. How does somebody go from Berkeley, California to Boulder, Colorado?
Well, Boulder and Berkeley are not too different from each other. Growing up in Berkeley, you see a lot of crazy stuff. Going to Boulder, you see a lot of crazy stuff. You know, Birkenstocks is not just for Berkeley. Birkenstocks also are very, very prevalent in Boulder, Colorado. So it was an easy transition for me to get to Boulder.
Okay. So talk to me about ranking the priorities. Was it just you felt accustomed to the environment there? Was it the coach? Was it the academics? Was it a chance to play in the NFL? What was your ranking as far as decisions?
Location would be first. I'm my mom, single parent household, 3 kids, and I wanted to be somewhere where she could get to me in 2 hours if needed be by plane. So Colorado basically was about the farthest I was going to go. And then secondly was the degree. Academically, I'm proud to say I've always been in good standing. My focus when I was going in was on biology. Ultimately, because I played early, spending my 4 years, my summers, I was able to graduate in 4 years. I ended up with an environmental studies degree, so that was great. And then lastly, my friends, we talked about Hannibal Navies. He was a teammate of mine at Berkeley High School. He went to Berkeley the year before me. Another gentleman by the name of Juwan Cherry. He, at the time, was a living legend in the Bay Area.
Man.
One of my teammates, Marcus Williams, who ended up at the Raiders. He played with me at Berkeley High School. We played basketball together. We ran track together, and we ended up in Boulder together. So there was a lot of things that I took into consideration to make that choice to end up at Colorado.
Amazing right there. And obviously everybody's excited and happy that you did when you made that decision. Did you ever have any regrets or think about transferring, or once you signed, it was pretty much done?
I think everybody I know who ended up getting a scholarship or going to college had regrets. They missed home cooking. They missed their friends. I mean, Guru, you could talk about leaving Houston and going to Kansas, how of a change that was for you. From women that I knew that went to play soccer, they missed home, and so it's not a male thing. It's an athlete thing. It's a human thing. So yes, as a freshman, I look back, Cal was winning. I was like, man, I could be at home at Cal. But ultimately I made the right decision. I graduated in 4 years, played 4 years, and the rest is history.
Yes, indeed. The rest is history. And just once again, you guys, I played with this man for 3 years in my life, a phenomenal teammate, very cerebral, smart, hard worker, and just a true testament to who he is. So thank you for sharing that with us, Rashidi. On to our next topic, you guys. And if you're joining us for the first time, all of the topics for tonight's show are on the bottom ticker. We get into the journey of our guests, but also into trending topics as well. And this one, you guys, is a trending topic. We play a violent sport, or we played a violent sport, but injuries are something that can derail your system or your season. And we had J.J. McCarthy getting injured, and he's out for the season. First round draft pick of the Vikings. Right here, this is literally today, the headlines of the NFL on ESPN, and you see guys are getting carted off the field. And it's not just at the high school or the college level, or the professional level, it's the college level too, you guys. Right here, Missouri defensive end out for the season-ending injury for the Texas running back. The Steelers having to shut down some training camp activities because of injuries. So I want to throw it to you guys, and I'll start with you, Guru. When you think about all of these injuries, and it seems like there's more and more early in the season during training camp, what would you attribute that to? Is that lack of preparation in the off season? Is that too much banging during the season and training camp? How do so many injuries continue to persist?
I don't know. I feel like, and I could be totally wrong, but I feel like statistically it's more injuries now than our era. Somehow I feel like that taken out, I guess because when football and the nature of the sport, if your body isn't accustomed to going full throttle the majority of the time, when you do in practice, it's gonna be a shock, and a lot of times you'll see injury, and it just seems that way. Like you're seeing more and more season-ending injuries, but it's like when you look at the practices now in this era don't have the same intensity as they did from previous eras. It's a lot more shell, a lot more thud. Really, really small amounts of isolated full go, whereas it was way more full go scrimmages and what have you in previous years. And of course, there was injuries. It just doesn't seem like it was as much across the board, college and pro.
Good point right there. Sheedy, talk to me. You were a physical player, man. You were playing safety. You had to throw your body around. Were you ever hurt? I didn't remember you being hurt in training camp, but were you ever hurt during training camp? And why do you think this is happening?
I was fortunate enough not to get hurt during training camp. However, what I believe is going on is that, and Guru kind of touched on it. These athletes are, when they go full throttle, they don't know how to, their body doesn't adjust properly. But I attribute it to not playing multiple sports. When I came up, I played basketball, football, ran track. I did whatever it was all day, every day. So for a whole year, any given year, I could play 3 or 4 sports. Every muscle in my body was being
used. Yep.
Was being used.
Yep.
We all know you go from basketball to football, there's different muscles that you're using. You get sore in different ways. So to me, I attribute a lot of these injuries to people just specializing in a specific sport. I get it. I have kids right now who are specializing in sports, but also I'm trying to tell them, listen, you got to play multiple sports. You're now training your body to deal with different types of environments. And whether it's running, jumping, whatever it is, you have to utilize those different muscles. And I just don't believe enough of our kids utilize every muscle in their body year round so that they can be prepared for a grueling football season.
I agree. And mind you, we're talking outside of track, right? If we get track, we understand that. But like you said, with hooping, you're using different muscle groups because basketball is a lot of plyometrics. You're jumping, whether it's you jump, jumpers, rebounding, you're trying to dunk on, so whatever the case may be, like you said, you're using different muscle groups. Same thing with baseball. That highly develops your hand-eye coordination, right? So it's I totally agree. And the thing is, Rashidi, that was natural. Like nobody played one sport when we were kids. Nobody. Everybody played. It was always, you go football, basketball, baseball, and possibly track. But it was always at least three sport, damn near 3 sport minimum in our era growing up, kids through adolescence and getting into college. And now, like you said, it's constant just football. So that's a great point.
Shuffling your feet in basketball, right? I mean, if you want to be a linebacker and you're able to go from sideline to sideline and form just from tackle to tackle,
facts.
Shuffle your feet, right? Shuffle, turn, go. Same thing. So a lot that you can learn in multiple sports applies to your main sport. But
absolutely.
I think we're not giving ourselves the ability to be athletes. It's okay to be an athlete.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it right there, you guys. And that's why you come to the Locker Room Show, is because you're going to hear from people who did it that are going to tell you things that are outside of the box. Some of these injuries might have nothing to do with the preparation of these athletes. They're just not using all these muscles until it's showtime, you guys. Right here, the great Jimmy Rucker says the body stays in motion when you're playing all of the sports. And it's interesting because you don't hear the training camp injuries at all the high schools. You hear them at the college level and the pro level where guys start specializing. So that's some good feedback right there, you guys. We are on to our next topic. Thank you for joining us. And this one is especially home to me and also Rashidi, as we're talking about our alma mater here. But we got Coach Prime's year 2, you guys. Coach Prime's year 2 in Boulder, Colorado. Obviously, we want to hope for more wins last year, but the money was flowing. So I want to ask you guys, I got a creative question for you, and we'll start with you, Rashidi. Year 2. Now, this is a pivotal year for Coach Prime, as we all know, because his son is trying to become a first-round NFL draft pick, really, but trying to become maybe the number 1 overall NFL draft pick. And then he loves his other son that's not biological, Travis Hunter. But also he's got some obligations where he's trying to get his team to the college football playoffs, which is a little bit more expanded this season, you guys. So with that being said, I want to ask you, and I'll start with you, Colorado Buffalo all-time great safety. One of these 3 scenarios goes down. One of these 3 scenarios. And I want you to pick the one that in your heart of hearts you think would be the one that Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime would choose. But it can only be one of these 3 scenarios, Sheedy. So here you go. Number one scenario for the 2024 season. Shador Sanders is the number one pick overall. He's the first QB, obviously. And Travis Hunter is a top 10 pick. But CU does not go to a bowl game. So Shador is number one overall. Travis is top 10, but no bowl game for CU. Okay. Scenario number two. Shador is the second quarterback picked. Number 4 overall. Travis is top 15, and CU goes to a decent bowl game. Let's say maybe Holiday Bowl or Cotton Bowl, y'all. Holiday Bowl or Cotton Bowl. Scenario number 3, and our last scenario for Coach Prime's 2024 season. Shador Sanders is the third QB overall. Number 10 pick. Travis is a top 20 pick. Maybe he had an injury or something. And CU goes to the college football playoffs. They're actually a playoff team. Which one of those scenarios, if you got an honest Coach Sanders, Coach Prime, which one do you think he would consider the winning scenario?
The winning scenario. I think any of those scenarios would be winning for him. One of the things that I appreciate about Coach Prime is that he has the ability to change the narrative and utilize whatever that narrative is to better himself and the organization. He is, Rick Neuheisel, we always would say, could sell water to an Eskimo. And that was a true statement. No matter what, how it came, Rick Neuheisel knew what to say at the right time and how to get his point across. Prime is maybe 10 times better than that. Prime reminds me a lot of a preacher, so we all understand that. When you're in the pulpit and how that preaching goes. To answer your question, I don't know if they will make it to the national championship. My biggest concern is that offensive line. So hear me out on this one. They got, I think, 5 new starters on offensive line, maybe 4 or 5 new starters on offensive line.
Yeah.
I think we all know how much it takes to jail as an offensive lineman. Screw defense. Defense, you could put us all 3 of us could be in a room together. We can learn the defensive package, and I know
figure it out. Yeah.
I know what Q you're gonna do. I know what Terrence is gonna do.
Yeah. We could talk our way through that.
Talk our way through it.
Yeah.
When it comes to the offensive line, and then you got them dogs from Utah on the edge coming or Oklahoma State coming, people start shaking in their boots and they don't know what they're supposed to do because now do I?
Yeah, boys jumping off sides.
Man.
You know what it is, and we said that the whole key with Colorado's entire season, offensively at least, is trying to keep this boy upright. I didn't even know. Were you all aware that he actually had a back? Like, he broke his back. He had a severe back injury last year.
No.
And he had a severe back injury. I mean, he got sacked. I think at least top 5. Sacked the most in all of NCAA. Yeah. Took the most sacks. So it's trying to keep this kid upright is going to be a task.
So 100%, what you guys are saying is true. And we all been in the trenches. We all been on a real college football field. So we know what you're saying is true. But we're painting a picture because we didn't know TCU was going to make it a few years ago.
True enough.
So I'm saying if one of these scenarios was to come true, my son is number 1 overall. I got my other son, my wannabe son, number 10, but we don't go bowl. I got my son, number 2 quarterback in the draft, number 4 overall. I got my other son, 15, but we go to Holiday or Cotton Bowl. Or, hey, my son don't get drafted till number 10. He don't get drafted till 15, but somehow we made it to the playoffs. Not the national championship, but the playoffs. Which one do you think Prime would choose?
I would go with number 2.
Okay.
But I also believe that there's so much that has to go right.
Variables,
for any of those 3 scenarios to come to fruition.
True.
Yeah.
True. But ultimately, moving to the Big 12 is going to be tough. You know, you got to travel to Florida and go play USF. That's going to be, they may not be ranked, but that's going to be Prime's first time back in Florida. And we know how he feels about Florida. And sometimes, I think we all know this, sometimes you can over prepare because you want to show out, right?
Yeah.
And you're
That's
not,
point.
and that becomes a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to know how to travel. It's a business trip. And these boys still have so much learning to do, so much gelling to do. You got Kansas, which is 18 preseason, Utah, which is 12 preseason, Oklahoma State, 17 preseason.
Yeah.
Arizona ranked number 21.
21, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are all the teams you got to play.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that and it's funny you say that because a lot of people, you know, obviously, you know, nationwide, you have a lot of people when they look at college football as a whole, you know, and it's like, you know, a lot of SECs, you know, SEC schools, we get that, Big Ten schools. But the thing I always say about the Big 12, and anyone is open to argue with this, is the Big Ten as well as the SEC is top heavy. You have 3 or 4 killers, and everybody else is kind of, hey. But the Big 12 is pretty much everyone is maybe ranked between maybe 12, 13 to 25, but you have like 5 or 6 of them. That's half the damn conference that's ranked. What that means is in the Big 12, where it's not top heavy and it's no different than our era, is anybody can beat anybody in our conference. You got to show up every damn weekend in the Big 12. It's not where you got Bama, Georgia, LSU, and everybody else. It's you got to suit it up because even the teams that are unranked in the Big 12 can still show up and beat you, right? You can
Was
have
Kansas State ranked?
Kansas State is ranked. I think they're right, but they're either right in front of Kansas
right
or right
outside.
behind us. Yeah,
I think they're 18. If I'm
yeah,
looking at
they're
my
18.
list, they're 18.
So that's what I mean. It's like 6 ranked. Half of our conference is ranked. Half, right? So you have scenarios where you have Iowa State that can show up and beat K-State, even though they're not ranked. You won't see Kentucky beat Alabama or Vanderbilt beat damn Georgia. Like SEC, we know how that's going to pan out. Big Ten, we pretty much know how that's going to pan out with the addition of Oregon making some noise. We got SC or whatnot. We get that, right? That's going to be a little bit more of a brawl, but it's not as top heavy as it was, but it's not as top heavy as the SEC. But the Big 12, it's like, man, you have no idea. Like if you're a betting man, if you sports betting, don't bet on Big 12 games because you have no clue. You have no idea, man.
But especially if it's Thursday and Tuesday.
Yeah, man. Like anybody, it's right there, man. It's those middle-ranked top 25 teams, and everybody else can just show up and just have this beat you. Cincinnati
okay,
can show up.
But answer the question, Q. If one of these scenarios was to go down, my boy is number 1 overall, and Travis is top 10. But we don't go nowhere for 2 years in a row. Number 2, my boy is the second QB pick, number 4 overall. Right. Travis is 15, and we go to a decent bowl. Or number 3, my boy is the third QB pick, number 10 overall. Travis is in the 15 range, and we go to the playoffs. Which one you think Prime would say, I'm going to put my hat on that one, and I'm going to be all right with it?
I think I'm with Sheedy, man. I think that second scenario is most ideal because it's to be honest, he might not be the first quarterback off the board. It's highly likely, but then we have to see it. You know, so it's one of those. Even if he's a second quarterback off the board and still goes top 5, and Travis goes top 10, and they go to a bowl. To me, that's the best overall win all the way around. But them going higher and no bowl, to me, for Coach Prime, that's still a shitty season. And then again, scenario 3, which would be at least bowl wise ideal. You know, obviously he wants to, you know, his 2 guys to go higher. But I don't think they have the interior lineman, man, or old man to go that deep off into, where they like not having not a successful season, man, but getting to the playoffs, because it's getting there. We've said this before too, T. It's a long
It's
season,
12
man.
this year, right?
Yeah,
12 teams?
yeah. But it's a long season, man. And if you don't have those linemen, if you weak in the trenches, man, or even borderline, man, it's no way you're gonna get to the playoffs. And that's just not.
It's going to be interesting to see, because you only got Power Four. You only got Power Four division. You only got 4 major divisions. So
Right.
even if you take 2 teams from each division, you're at 8.
8.
And then you can take 4 conference winners from the other division, the group of 5, to get your 12. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
First year, you guys, where we got this expanded playoff. So it's going to be interesting. But it would be interesting to know if I know Coach Prime don't drink, but if you could get him to tell you truthfully, what's a bigger win? The team win and the team going a little bit further, or your son and your other son going a little bit higher in the draft? That would be interesting.
And
Go ahead.
If I can add, the other thing, Prime is he understands his brand. His brand can't be tarnished by not winning. So that's why that number 2 scenario makes the most sense in terms of him being happier or the happiest, because he can't tarnish his brand. And his brand also extends to the success of his children, as well as the success of himself at the college level, especially at a Power 5 level. So once again, I go back to scenario 2 as probably the best fit.
Agreed.
Great point right there. And the great Coach Foss says he's giving them 3 wins. So Coach got Coach got the whole season falling apart.
Damn.
We didn't have that scenario, Coach.
Man, it's a cold game out here.
And then we are on, you guys, to our next topic. And this one was interesting. You guys, we're always trying to pull things that can help serve you guys. And some of you guys are eventually you're making some college decisions, just like these 2 gentlemen have. They had options, and then they had to make a decision. So some of you guys are going to be in that situation one day. And I thought this was interesting. We got the quarterback, Joe Milton, rookie quarterback out of Tennessee, and he is showing out, you guys. Everybody knew he had a cannon arm, but he's showing out in training camp, and he's saying that it's Tennessee. Tennessee set him apart from everybody else, where he was ready for everything that the NFL so far has had to throw at him. So I'll bring it to you first, Guru. When you look at some of these programs in the top 25, I mean, Tennessee wasn't in the playoffs, but maybe they're developing guys better than some of these higher ranked schools. Is there any way for a recruit to tell if he's going to be better developed for the next level when he's figuring out where to go? And then my other question to you is, when you're looking at the development, is that something that you had in mind when you chose Kansas?
I was looking at things from multiple angles. What helped me a lot was the fact that I was seeing so many guys from my hometown in St. Louis, that were transitioning, going from college to the league. And then I knew that, Glenn Mason had an awesome track record. And also the fact that he comes from that solid coaching tree from Woody Hayes. You see what I mean? So it was like those factors added together, was what helped me a lot with making my decision. And then too, as you mentioned too, Rashidi, it was like, I definitely had, man, LSU and some other schools, right there at the top of the list for reasons, man. But then it was like, you don't want to go too far from home, man, so people can't see you play live too.
Good point. Sheedy, talk to me. I got a couple questions for you. One, is it up to these college coaches to really be developing these guys for the next level? Or is it just about wins at their level, their current level? And then 2, when you were leaving Berkeley and choosing Colorado, was NFL development something that you were even thinking about?
So I'll take the last question first.
Okay.
I knew that at the time I would be on national television every week. No matter what, you couldn't. Colorado was on national television. The day after Thanksgiving, we were playing Nebraska. We were on national television. So no matter what, I was going to get that notoriety. However, the coaches can only give you so much.
True.
You got to take those gems and you got to produce something with it. So if you're going to bank your career on a coach, then you're not believing in yourself. Ultimately, you got to believe in yourself, because today you can go to any school you want to and produce, but you're the one that got to be watching film for an additional 2 hours. You're the one that after practice have to be finding the receivers to throw the ball to. You're the one that has to get into your playbook before you jump on the video game to play whatever the new video game is today. You're the one that has to do that. The coach can only do so much. So if you believe that a coach is going to be the one that's going to get you to X, just look at the statistics. The statistics show you ain't going to make it. So what's going to make you rise? What's that? The cream. Cream always rises to the top. Right. How are you going to rise to the top? Because the coach did everything for everybody else. Now, what are you doing to get yourself to that next level?
Right.
Facts. Right there.
Facts.
Yeah, that's something for you guys to keep in mind. I mean, you guys, some of you have the aspirations to go to the next level, but like Rashidi's telling you, they're all going to give you something. What are you going to do with it? So, the tool is only as good as the craftsman using it. Supposedly, Joe Milton took what Tennessee had, and he's taking it to the next level. So good for him. We're on to our next topic, you guys. And we're
Terrence, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the one other piece for me at Colorado, I knew that I was going to be playing against the best people too.
Facts.
So once again, I took what I learned. I got my butt kicked on the field.
Yeah,
that helped me get better. Like I didn't shy away from the contact. That's why I went to Colorado. I mean, we had Buckus Award winners on our team. We had John Mackey Award winners. We had Jim Thorpe winners. Like, these are folks that were the best of the best, not only at Colorado, but in the nation. And I had to learn from them. I didn't shy from that. And so I think that, once again, I took that knowledge to help me get to the next level.
Love it right there, right. You guys can take that to the bank. We're on to our next topic. You guys ripping and running through this locker room show. You're with the great Rashidi Barnes. This was an all Big 12 performer at Colorado. You guys, Bay Area native, went on to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns. So you guys are getting it from somebody who's done it at the highest level. Appreciate his time tonight. This was a topic, you guys, that obviously will be an ongoing case study and very, very interesting. But Kirby Smart, and I guess he would be considered one of the halves, out of the college football haves and have-nots. But he's saying there's an issue with his roster. You guys, he's saying because of the portal, because of NIL, other teams poaching his roster, that he doesn't have the depth, Guru and Sheedy, that he used to have. He says that he feels fine with his ones, but he doesn't have the depth that he used to have, the development that he used to have. He says he doesn't know if the high school kids are coming in less prepared, but he realizes this training camp that he doesn't have the 2s and the 3s like he should have. I thought to you, Guru, is this just him blowing smoke? Is this him needing to get better at his recruiting and his portal habits? Or is this a real thing where maybe there's not going to be as good of depth in college football? He says it's deteriorating.
No, 100% it is. 100%, because, think about it. It's not like the same thing with Georgia, the same thing with Alabama, the same thing with, those Florida teams in the late 90s, or those early 2000 Miami teams. Nobody is sitting and waiting for their turn. I'm not going to, like, these kids now, they don't want to be part of a system and have loyalty to their teammates and loyalty to their brothers on the field and loyalty to a university. They don't want to sit. So if they're looking at it now, like, well, instead of me sitting a year or whatever and developing and learning from the starter or learning from a guy in front of me, man, is probably going to get drafted, or whatnot. I want to, like, why would I stay at Georgia when I can transfer to Arkansas and get a bag and start right now? And that's how these kids are looking at it. And in some ways, I get it. It's hard to blame them. It really is. In this era, it's hard to blame them. And that's what Georgia and especially Alabama, that's what they built their programs off of the last 10 years, is they had that depth at the 2s and the 3s where, we're just kids. They could go start anywhere, but they stayed. But now your 2s and 3s are transferring out. Even
so
if
you're telling me there's no replacing Jalen Hurts with Tua?
That's dead. That's dead because in this situation again, if you have Tua that's a backup and Hurts was starting, Tua would leave and go to Oregon, or he leave and go to Michigan. He wouldn't, like, these kids they're not staying and working through it like that. They're like, if I'm not starting right now, I'm out. That's college football in a nutshell now. If I'm not the guy, I'm out.
Talk to me, Rashidi, because I remember taking my trip to Colorado and we had Ryan Sutter, we had Ryan Black at safety, and then you were next in line, and everybody was happy. Everybody got to go to the NFL and get their shot. Do you think Kirby Smart is blowing smoke, or do you think we're not going to see as good a depth in college football?
All industries change, and what you have to do is adjust. And I truly believe that's why Coach K, Duke's all-time greatest basketball coach, got out of the game, because he didn't want to change. He didn't want to adjust. Kirby Smart doesn't want to adjust. And whether it's right or wrong, you have to adjust with what your industry is asking you to do. And so I think that's where you start seeing a lot of these coaches either say, you know what, I'm done, or they adjust, or they start complaining. And so for this particular example, Kirby Smart is not adjusting. He's not making the changes on the fly that he needs to make so people want to stay. Like, you have to figure out, and I always go back, like, once again, Rick Neuheisel was a salesman. And not saying he could be able to do and coach today, but he knew what it took to make you want to stay.
I'll answer that one for you. He could.
Right. So my point being is that you got to adjust to what's going on, how this game is being played. And if you're going to sit there and say that, oh, I did it 20 years ago the X way, well, it's time for you to do it Y way. And if you're not going to adjust, then you're done. And the kids see it, the parents see it, the boosters see it. They're not blind to it. And so when I see someone like a Deion come in, whether or not he's right or wrong in his tactics, he's doing it a way that's different. And that's why you got so many people upset at him. But he's not complaining that his second team sucks. He's not complaining that he can't do X, Y, or Z, because he's already doing it a different way. He's not leaning on his laurels from 20 years ago.
Right.
Very interesting, you guys. And I see the great Jimmy coming in and say that's why Saban quit. So you are 100%. Seeing a lot of the old guard start to get out of the game. And they won't say it's because of these reasons, but, the timing is interesting. Well,
you got a coach now.
Go ahead.
You got a coach now.
You got to do more. Coach, you got.
Well, you do. But it's one. But it's not where, okay, man. If I'm not. What if I'm not getting the same amount of influx of 4- and 5-star kids or whatnot? Now I got a coach. I got to put my coaching skills to the test now. Where you have other schools. Other schools or whatnot that might be taking and seeing success with these so-called 2- and 3-star ranked kids and having great seasons year after year. I always bring up Boise State. Hell, they've been kicking ass for 15 years with no 4- and 5-star kids up from top to bottom. So it can be done. Like you said, these coaches are just.
It's just not as easy.
It's not as easy.
Okay. All right. So there you guys have it from Two players that know. I mean, this is Rashidi Barnes. This is the guru telling you, if you want to have some depth, you can have some depth, Kirby Smart. You just got to work a little harder, baby. So we are on to our next topic, you guys, and this is the fan favorite portion of the show. This is the lightning round. The lightning round. Association. Tonight's guest is obviously the great Bay Area native, Rashidi Barnes, superstar at the University of Colorado. He's got 60 seconds, guys. 60 seconds to get through our list. And I got a pretty good list for this gentleman, so we're going to see what it do. He's got 60 seconds, so let me get my stopwatch ready. Now, this is a cerebral guy. This is someone that is very well studied. He's on his game. He ain't got no fifth of Hennessy or nothing by him. He's going to be on his toes. So I got to make sure that we get this thing going in the right fashion. We got him at 0, and he's in the Bay Area. I'm in the Bay Area. So if you can get 17 or more, then it's a dinner on me. I got to drive out to Walnut Creek and take this gentleman to dinner on the Locker Room Show. So we got him at 0s. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, he gets 1 for Tech Delay. Even though we're both in the Bay Area, we're still going to give him 1 for Tech Delay. So even if he gets 16, he's in the mix. He's in the mix. All right. Ready, Big Dog?
I'm about to be like Kirby Smart and quit.
No Kirby Smart. No Kirby Smart. We need Dog Pound to come through right here. So let's go. We got Sheedy at 0s, and we're about to get started, you guys. Once again, first thing that comes to his mind. First thing that comes to his mind. All right.
Here we go.
Number one in the lightning round. First thing that comes to your mind. Berkeley High School. Go.
Greatest of all time.
Ronnie Lott or Ed Reed?
Ed Reed.
Doc Crease.
Greatest of all time. Wait. God.
Chicken fried rice or shrimp fried rice?
Shrimp fried rice.
The best player you ever played against?
Courtney Brown.
Favorite Bay Area restaurant?
Chez Felice.
Frog legs or alligator?
Alligator. Fried.
Rick Neuheisel.
Slick Rick.
40 seconds. Favorite board game?
Monopoly. Always winning.
Marshawn Lynch. 55 seconds.
Oakland's finest.
Hannibal Navies.
Oakland's finest.
Miami or Paris?
Paris.
Rocky or Creed? Time.
Creed.
Give him that
He's
one.
going with Creed. We'll give him that
Creed.
one. We'll give him that one, and then we'll revisit as we always do. He was cooking for a little while, and he used some of the same ones, which was a good technique. But we're gonna see what the great Rashidi Barnes got on the lightning round. So let's count them up. Number 1 was Berkeley High. That's his old high school. He says the greatest. Ronnie Lott or Ed Reed? That's a tough one. He's going with the youngster. Ed Reed for number 2. Number 3 was Doc Crease, all-strength coach, legend, rest in peace. He says the greatest. Number 4, we're going chicken fried rice or shrimp fried rice, Sheedy. He says I'm going with the shrimp fried rice. Number 5, best player you ever played against, and this is actually with Courtney Brown when he was with the Browns, first-round draft pick. Number 6, best restaurant, I don't even know. Shay something. It sounds bougie, but that's his favorite restaurant. Number 7, frog legs or the alligator. He said, give me the fried alligator. Number 8, his old coach that recruited him, Rick Neuheisel, the little slick Rick in there. Favorite board game, he's going with the Monopoly, says he's always winning for the 9. Number 10, Marshawn Lynch, Oakland native, he says Oakland's finest. Number 11, Hannibal Navy's former teammate, that's his brother, my brother, he says Oakland's finest part 2. And then with the Miami or Paris with his wife, he's going to Paris And then last but not least for the 12, he's got Creed over Rocky. So 13 with the tech delay, 13 with the tech delay. Very good for number 3, Rashidi Barnes. We appreciate you, brother. So we are on, you guys, to our last topic of the show. This is the audience Q&A. As you guys know that rock with us, we're live in the comment section. So if you know this gentleman or you just got a question for somebody that played major college football and in the NFL, then put it in the comments section right now. But I know, Guru, you got some good shit.
Definitely. So, quick question, Shitty, for this evening. What do you feel like, man, for any of these guys that are going to be maybe draft eligible juniors or their senior year, and looking to be on some teams' draft boards? What was the most difficult thing, if anything, transitioning like that first rookie year, like whether it's camp, whatever it might have been? What was the hardest part transition?
Learning how to study film. Really understanding what studying film is. It is not just breaking down the player that you're playing against, but also breaking down yourself. Where are you getting beat at? Where are you missing the tackle at? How are you leading with your head, or is your head down? You have to learn about yourself so that you can make yourself better.
I got you. Angles, false steps. I feel you.
Everything.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Sheedy. You went on to the Browns, and then obviously they released you. You decided to go to NFL Europe. You rip it up in NFL Europe, Player of the Year, and then you sign with the Cowboys. And then you go through that whole system right there and that whole evolution before you get released from them. Why didn't you give it another crack? Why didn't you go to Canada? What was the determining factor? Because you were still young in hanging it up. Was it somebody told you to hang it up? What was the determining factor?
I was a person who enjoyed playing football. I never let it define me. And so even going to college, it was, if you're going to pay for my education to play football, I'm going to do this. Oh, you want me to go to the professional level? You're going to pay me to play football? I'm going to do this. Because it didn't define me, I was able to walk away.
That's what's up. Okay. That's a hell of an answer.
I love it.
That's a hell of an answer.
Now, did it not define you because of what mom put into you, what your community put into you, or was it just something that clicked into you when you were in college that, hey, I'm not going to let this define me? Why did you not let it define you?
You look at so many other people that come to your college, whatever, pick a college. They could be number one in their state at pick a position. They never make it to the football field. They never make it to the basketball field. Basketball court. They never make it to play. But they never are able to transition. Right? Because that sport defined them, whatever it was. So when they went back home, their coaches, their parents, their faith, the ministers said, you should be playing in the NFL. And so mentally, they didn't know how to get past that. And so you see these examples, to me, it's because we allowed sports to define us, opposed to controlling our own mental toughness and saying, okay, when this is done, and walk away.
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing, or maybe a couple of big things, and then we'll let you go, that you've taken from football that you feel have helped you transition into becoming the business professional you are today?
Always be prepared to sell yourself. Someone said, Michael Jordan used to say all the time, they always say, Michael, why are you always wearing suits? Because you never know who's watching you. You never know what you need to be prepared for. You always got to look your best, right? And my coach in Cleveland, my rookie year, told me, if you win the crowd, I can't cut you. So I say all that to say that you gotta go hard, and you gotta be who you are, but be ready at any point in time to take on that next whatever, that next question, that next opportunity. You have to be prepared, and you always have to stay prepared. If you don't stay prepared, then you're gonna fail. You're preparing yourself to fail.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
perfect right there.
Yeah.
You guys, this is why we wanted to have this gentleman on. I love him. He's my brother, but I wanted him to come on so you guys can learn from somebody that was an all-conference performer that did it at the highest level, that was worthy of being drafted to the NFL. So, Sheedy, amazing job tonight, man. Love you. Wishing you the best, and thanks for coming on the show tonight, man.
Thank you, guys. Good talking to you.
Appreciate you, my man.
All right, man.
All right, you guys. So, hey, that is the great Rashidi Barnes. I mean, you were in the Big 12 with us. He was a dog, man. He was a dog and always just laid it on the line. Hell of a teammate, Q. Hell of a teammate.
Yeah.
Because you know, there's guys that are just Hall of Fame type teammates. There's guys that are acquaintances, man, that you just kind of get through it with. But someone like him, he was always gonna make sure that if, you know, let's say coach got on you, he'd pull you aside. He'd be the OG to pull you aside. Hey, man, don't trip, but you got to do it this way, you know. Or when you doubted yourself, he'd say something.
He's going to pick you up. Yeah.
So real good.
Yeah,
dude.
he's a teammate that everybody, man. You gotta have a guy like that. Really, you need more than one guy like that, but you gotta have a guy like that, man, on every team, every successful team for sure. You gotta have that, man.
Yes, indeed.
I like how he answered about, as much as we love this game, not allowing the game itself to define you. I know myself what I love about the game, and one of the things I love about this game is it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a societal tool.
Leverage.
Everybody loves football players, right? So it's how do you use that? You know, whether it's Andy in regards to how he used that as an awesome tool with acting. You know, us, what we're doing now. I mean, just meeting people, period. It's the ultimate tool. It's about how you grow your circle with this game, man. You know, so it's the people that you come across and the places. This game can take you off the field places that you never imagined. And it's so many of our guests that's been on this show that will attest to that, man. So that's one thing I for sure love about this game. You never know where football is going to take you. Way outside of the white lines. Way outside.
No, 100%, man. Football is a passport, you guys. It's a passport that can help you get wherever you want to get, meet whoever you want to meet. This is America's sport, and you guys play America's sport. So people are going to open the door for you. You guys got to be ready, like Rashidi said, to take advantage. You know, so many times, what are we running out the house in some flip-flops, a lot of these kids, or some Crocs and with a bonnet on or something, you know.
Right.
You got to be ready. You got to be ready, and that's what football does teach you. Next man up, go take your shot, you know. So I appreciate him sharing that. You guys, tremendous value that we're bringing every single week in the Locker Room Show. Q, the season's here, man. Yeah. I mean, high school teams have already been doing scrimmages. We've got preseason. College kicks off in a week and a half. You know, it is put up or shut up, dude.
Hey, man, it really is. It really is, man. Of course, you know, everyone, and I said this last year, and it's the heat is turned up tenfold this year. It's despite the conference shifts, despite, you know, the the Pac-12 folding and other teams being dispersed.
Playoff expansion.
Despite the playoff expansion, I'm still saying all eyes are on Boulder, Colorado. All eyes are on Boulder, Colorado, man, because it's been, you know, and we get it, man, you know, with Dion and the kids, and, you know, that's their style and the flamboyancy, and, you know, they do have a ton of talent. But as far as if you can narrow all, like in Power 5 football, if you can narrow down one team that all eyes are gonna be on, in my opinion, it's not Ohio State, it's not Bama, Georgia, Oregon. It's all eyes on the Buffs. Everyone wants to see how this is gonna pan out.
It's a movie.
It's
a movie.
It is.
And we all get to sit back and get our popcorn and watch it, you guys. And we going to take you through it, baby. The Locker Room Show, Coach Wood, the Guru, we going to take you through this crazy season that's about to take place. So you guys buckle up. and ride with us. We got plenty more amazing guests coming your way to give you the football sauce. And you do with it what you want to do with it. All right. But we'll see you next Thursday. I'm your host, Coach Wood. That's Guru. And we'll see you at the top. You guys be safe and have a good one. It's football time, y'all. Let's kick off.